Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Jay. I'm here to talk about WrestleMania Night 2, uh, the second edition to uh, this WrestleMania weekend for WrestleMania 37. Yeah, it was a really spectacular show. I enjoyed many matches, and there were many title changes and many unexpected things that happened. First, let me go through it. First, you had the Fiend. The opening match of the show was the Fiend versus Randy Orton, and immediately Randy Orton comes out in these really white tights, and I'm like, well, he's wearing white because he's supposed to be the baby face, but in the storyline, they made it seem like leading up to it, they made it seem like the Fiend was the baby face. So I'm like, what's really going on? You know, are they gonna switch the Fiend to a heel or what? Or what? So in the Fiend's entrance, he comes out in this Jack in the Box, in this huge ass Jack in the Box that Alexa Bliss has to wind up, and on the top of it is a pentagram. So it's a lot of satanic imagery. And when he pops up, he's not burned. He's no longer burned. Remember a couple of weeks ago, um, Randy Orton burned him alive? Well, he's no longer burned. He's in his old Fiend outfit. So I'm like, okay, this is different. So they're wrestling the match. They're wrestling the match in the red light. And I'm like, oh man, this red light shit again. It's annoying. It's hard to see. And it just, I don't really care for it. But anyway, he gets him in his sister Abigail. And all of a sudden, Alexa Bliss starts starts oozing this black oil or black paint all over her face. Bray Wyatt looks at her. He gets distracted. Randy Orton goes for the RKO, boom, and pins Bray Wyatt clean. And you can hear the fans in the audience chant, holy shit, as Alexa Bliss is sitting there, all drenched in black oil out of this Jack in the Box. And Michael Cole's like, this box-like structure. No, Michael Cole, it wasn't a box-like structure. It was a Jack in the Box that he came out of. So my first thought was, oh, he's him and Alexa are coming out of the Jack in the Box, so they must gonna get over. Because according to Jim Cornette's philosophy, whoever comes out of a box is instantly over. But that wasn't the case. He lost. Once again, Bray Wyatt fucked out of a WrestleMania. Man, I don't think Bray Wyatt will ever get justice at WrestleMania. So far, he and Sasha never win at WrestleMania. But at least Sasha put Bianca Belair over cleanly in a really good way. This was just weird. Like, at the end of the night, they were like, what the hell's really going on with Alexa Bliss? Is she turning on Bray Wyatt? Is she going to turn on the Fiend or what? Why did she distract him in order for him to put the RKO and beat her? Okay, that match goes on short. The following match, the match after that is Shayna Baszler teaming with Nia Jax to take on the winners of last night's tag team turmoil match, Natalya and Tamina. So I'm thinking they're going to give it to Natalya and Tamina because the crowd was really behind them. You know what I mean? They were chanting for Tamina, but no, they lost. Reginald wasn't out there. I don't know why Reginald wasn't out there, but they lost. They were the real crowd favorites. The match went on forever. It went on for like 20 minutes. And and first thing I said was Tamina Snuka is going to try to slam Nia Jax. And she does. The slam looked like shit. It was worse than when Lex Luger slammed Yokozuna. And Natty's sharpshooter looked like shit. But anyway, they lost when Shayna Baszler choked out Natalia. And Natalia got busted open the hard way too. That happened twice at this event. It happened again with Riddle in the U.S. title match with Riddle and Sheamus. The U.S. title match with Riddle and Sheamus. This match, the title changed hands. Sheamus won the U.S. title. Riddle came with a moonsault. Sheamus reversed it into a bro kick and kicked him right in the teeth. He was almost going to go for a white noise off the top rope, but then he thought about it and he was like, oh, no, let me not do that. And they didn't go that route. The most entertaining thing about this was the backstage skit that that they had where RVD is introducing his new brand of roll-ups to Matt Riddle and the Great Khali. And the Great Khali is speaking in Punjabi, and nobody understands what he's saying. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is kind of funny. But I'm like, where did RVD pick up this Punjabi? From the original Sheik and Sabu? Right? So, and then the Intercontinental title match. The Intercontinental title match, it was a Nigerian drum fight. And I was intrigued by this because I'm like, what is a Nigerian drum fight? They never really explained it. They just explained that it's going to be something different. Big E defending the Intercontinental Championship against Apollo Crews. Well, it was basically a kendo stick match. It was really brutal, and it was one spot where he just nailed Big E across the back and put him on the stairs, and you could just hear the thing crack over Big E's back. And I'm like, oh shit, this is brutal. But one thing I am getting a little bit annoyed about, and I don't really watch SmackDown or Raw weekly, but just throughout this match as they were talking, it was kind of like, I am getting a little bit annoyed by the fake Nigerian accent that Apollo Crews is putting on. I mean, come on. You wasn't built from Nigeria before all the other years you were in WWE. Why are you all of a sudden putting on this fake Nigerian accent? But it ends when Daba Kato, aka Baba Tunde, comes out and chokeslams Big E, and Apollo Crews gets the win, and Apollo Crews is your new Intercontinental Champion. And again, Michael Cole fucks up, and he acts like he don't know who Daba Kato is. Like we have been seeing Daba Kato all throughout the summer last year on Raw Underground. I mean, come on, Michael Cole, get it together. I don't know if they're trying to introduce. They're probably going to switch back to his original name, which was Babatunde. But that's probably why Michael Cole acts like they don't know who he is. They're probably going to repackage him. We got to see. The Kevin Owens Sami Zayn grudge match. One thing I liked about this Kevin Owens Sami Zayn grudge match was Kevin Owens' shirt. It was modeled after WrestleMania 5, Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, but it was him and Sami Zayn. And they never failed to deliver. They always deliver. But this time Logan Paul was in Sami Zayn's corner. So I'm thinking Logan Paul's gonna do something. Logan Paul's gonna get involved. Because the whole storyline is that uh Logan Paul, Sami Zayn is complaining about conspiracies. He's a conspiracy theorist. Ever since he lost the Intercontinental Championship, he's he's all worried about conspiracies, worried about being screwed over. So I'm thinking Logan Paul is gonna do something, and then of course Sami Zayn the match, and then that's going to spark Sami Zayn to say that WWE officials are conspiring against them. No, um, that doesn't happen. Uh, Logan Paul just sits there. One thing though, when Kevin Owens knocked Sami Zayn out, Logan Paul reacted. Logan Paul sold it. But other than that, Logan Paul just sits there until Sami Zayn loses, and then him and Sami Zayn get into an argument, and then he pushes down Sami Zayn, and then Kevin Owens stuns him. So I'm like, what was the point of Logan Paul? He just freaking sat there like a dummy, um, not doing anything. Like you were completely you were completely fucking useless. You didn't need you there. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have put on tremendous matches before. You really didn't fucking need Logan Paul. That was just a shameless plug. In contrast to Bad Bunny the night before, when Bad Bunny tore it up in the Miz and Morrison match. You know, Logan Paul, complete waste. Um, Let me see what was up. What else was on there? Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. Asuka and Rhea Ripley. Um, yeah, this match was really slow. By the time this match came on, I was already getting tired, and I pretty much knew that Rhea Ripley was gonna win. And I'm glad they gave it to her in this way, because last year, if they would have gave it to her, first of all, it was only the NXT Championship. It wasn't the original. I mean, it wasn't one of the big titles like the Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship. So uh, it wasn't going to be as prestigious. And secondly, there was no audience. So when you want to launch a big star like Rhea, you want to do it with an audience there so they could bask in it. Even though she was a heel, it was a pretty good back and forth match. Asuka sold her ass off, and Rhea just used her power to overpower Asuka and choke her and choke her out. They did a pretty good chain wrestling series where Asuka had her in the Asuka lock, and Rhea reversed it. Then they reversed it. They really showed off the versatility of their wrestling skills, but the match was slow, and I didn't really enjoy it. Now, one match that changed my mind, that really going into it, I thought, I'm like, yo, this match is going to suck. This match is going to be horrible because I wanted to be a one-on-one match. I wanted Edge to take on Roman Reigns, and that was it. Roman Reigns versus Edge versus Daniel Bryan. I'm like, why is Daniel Bryan even in this match? But then as they were doing the promos leading up to it, I thought to myself, this makes perfect sense. Edge had to retire in 2011 due to a neck injury. Daniel Bryan had to retire in 2016 due to his concussion injury. Roman Reigns had to give up wrestling in 2018 due to his leukemia and then come back as a in a triumphant return. So all these guys had emotional moments where they all had to overcome adversity. So it kind of makes sense that they're all meeting at this moment to finally do it. But I'm not going to give away everything blow by blow with this match, but this was an incredible triple threat match. Some of the moments I loved was when Edge did the concerto on Daniel Bryan. When Daniel Bryan and Edge both did. One did the yes lock, one did the crippler crossface, and they both have Roman Reigns in it. And Roman Reigns you can see Roman Reigns suffering, wanting to tap, but not giving up. And they both have him in the move, and they're both pulling back and pulling back and pulling back. And it's like, is he gonna tap? Is he gonna tap? He doesn't, and then they headbutt each other. And then Jey Uso gets involved, and Jey Uso is DDT'd on the floor by Edge on the stairs. And Edge does a concerto. And you can really see that when Edge did the concerto to um to Daniel Bryan, I'm like, this Edge is gonna be Edge's moment. He's going to regain his place at the top of the mountain. But no. Jey Uso comes in, hits Edge, and then Roman Reigns does the concerto on Edge and puts both guys on top of each other. Puts Edge on top of Daniel Bryan and pins both at the same time. And I was like, maybe adding the element of Daniel Bryan to this match was exactly what this match needed. Because when he was about to go for the yes kick out the corner, he's doing the yes thing, he's doing this, and then boom, Edge comes in with a spears the hell out of Daniel Bryan, and then Edge himself gets speared by Roman Reigns. And it was nonstop action this match. Each guy, you can remember back to a time when it was each guy's time, when it was each guy's moment. Roman at WrestleMania 32, Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 33, and Edge when he first won the championship in 2005. Since all three of these guys were veterans, we all have memories of these guys triumphing at the top of their game. So the match was a gambit full of emotions. And the fact that Jey Uso was in it, and at first, I'm like, damn, Jey Uso doing all the dirty work. He's super kicking Edge. He's super kicking Daniel Bryan. He's ramming Edge into the stairs. He's ramming Daniel Bryan into the stairs. Is Roman Reigns going to do anything, or is he just going to lay there? But that was the story of the match. That Jey Uso was being used by Roman Reigns as a tool. And the heat Roman got. The heat. You can hear the fans say, Roman sucks. Roman sucks. And it was just tremendous heat when he finally raised the SmackDown, the Universal Championship, the SmackDown Championship for the win. With a concerto on Edge. Like his own move on him. And it just closes the show with Michael Cole saying, who can stop Roman Reigns? And I just loved it. I'm like, it would have been cool to see Edge do it. Since he had the worst injury of them all. Well, no, Roman, I say, well, I don't know. It's hard to really call it, but it would have been cool to see him do it anyway. I would have been satisfied with either Edge or Roman. But to me, this sets up a big match for Roman Reigns next year at WrestleMania 38. Who can do it? Who can topple the monster that is Roman Reigns? Like, since he been a heel, since he came back at SummerSlam, and he been a heel, he been tearing it up, man. He been killing it. This this is what they always wanted. They wanted to boo Roman, and they're finally getting that chance. They're finally getting that opportunity. And I am loving it. You know? So, the other matches on this show were not as great as this triple threat match. I think this is the best triple threat match in WrestleMania history, topping Chris Benoit versus Shawn Michaels versus Triple H at WrestleMania 20, topping Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte at WrestleMania 35, topping Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, and Randy Orton at WrestleMania 22, topping every triple threat match, even the one that Daniel Bryan first won the championship at 7 years ago, which they referenced. But yeah, it was a great match, the best triple threat match I've ever seen. There was one moment there where Roman Reigns, Edge, and Daniel Bryan are just laying there, and it looked like they died, man. Each one inching towards the other. The way they were selling, the way they were giving off emotion was incredible, man. It was incredible. It was, even though a heel won, it was so much heat. So much heat. And that is rare for a WrestleMania, for a heel to go home as the champion, but it happened. So much heat. To me, I think this is setting up for Brock. Brock Lesnar to come back and defeat Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. Overall, I give this WrestleMania a 7 out of 10. I take away points for the Fiend shit. That was complete nonsense. What the hell, man? They don't even explain to us what was the ending of it. And they're really pushing this shit because they aired it twice. They aired the Alexa Bliss thing twice. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with Alexa Bliss? You know, is she turning on Bray Wyatt? What the hell? Is she, you know, is she Sister Abigail? We always want, who is Sister Abigail? We always want to know. But they give no explanation. It was a completely short match for him. A match that's being built up for a whole year practically. And the women's tag team match, complete nonsense. They were cheering for Tamina. They should have gave it to Tamina. This could have been her night. This could have been her time to succeed. Kind of like with Cesaro. And the Intercontinental match, I could have did without the interference. Why did Apollo Crews need Dabba-Kato to chokeslam Big E? Couldn't he have done it himself? It was already an uncensored match. He could have just hit him with a nice with a Nigerian drumstick and boom, pinned him for the 1, 2, 3. He didn't have to go that far. So yeah, I take points away because of that. Like I said, the Rhea Ripley match and Asuka was slow, but it had the right result. We all wanted to see Rhea Ripley go over because I felt like this WrestleMania was in some ways kind of like passing the torch from an older generation to the newer generation, from Sasha Banks to Bianca Belair, from Asuka to Rhea Ripley. You know, highlighting new stars. But one old star that really made a fool of himself, and he got tremendous heat, was Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan was out there with Titus O'Neil the second night, dressed in a pirate outfit. I mean, they were dressed like Pirates of the Caribbean, like Captain Jack Sparrow just came on the scene. And the whole night they were doing this thing with Bayley. They did it last night too with the NWO, where she tried to give the too sweet to Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash went like this and just snubbed her. And then the following night, she tried to talk to Eric Bischoff about her show, Ding Dong Hello, was better than 83 Weeks. He snubbed her. And Hulk Hogan and Titus O'Neil were kind of looking like they were annoyed by her. So finally, when they were out there the second time, she comes out there, she starts running them down, berating them, and then the Bella Twins come out there and they beat the hell out of her. So that was, I guess, the Bella Twins moment. That was twin magic. That was a quick throwaway, but that was all that Bailey got. All she got the whole 2 nights was that skit. I mean, Bailey, one of the best women's wrestlers of our time, and that's all she gets is a freaking skit. That was complete bullshit. I take points away for that. She should have had a match. And if they're gonna do a running, they should have had Becky Lynch come and do the running. But of the 2 nights, besides the triple threat and Sasha and Bianca, the two best matches of both nights. Of this night, the best in-ring match was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. But again, you didn't need Logan Paul. The unnecessary celebrity involvement. I thought at least Logan Paul was going to punch out Sami Zayn or something. He didn't do it. He just pushed him down. And then he ends with a stunner. Like, why not just have Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens? I don't know. But anyway, another WrestleMania in the bag. WrestleMania 37. Next year they announced they're going back to AT&T Stadium, which again I said this sets it up perfectly for Roman Reigns next year, because remember when they really launched Roman Reigns, when they really launched him as a single star, and he won his first WWE Championship, was back in 2016 when he beat Triple H at AT&T Stadium. So, and he went in there as a babyface, right? Because we thought they were going to do it at WrestleMania 31, Levi Stadium. They didn't. But when they launched him, was WrestleMania 32. So his history, going back there, the place where it all started for him, the place where he was first launched as a single star outside of the Shield, would be tremendous history next year. Going back there as a heel, defending the Universal Championship. Also, Sasha Banks to go back there. Sasha Banks had her start on the main roster with her, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte in that triple threat match in WrestleMania 32. So have her go back as a champion and have a rematch with Bianca Belair and have her go over against Bianca next year. Or maybe Rhea Ripley versus Bianca. Have a draft come up and Bianca switch brands and Rhea Ripley go against Bianca next year at WrestleMania 38. Well, we'll see what they're going to do. Guys, overall, it was a tremendous experience. Back in business. Hopefully, we get past this COVID situation and WWE gets back to touring again. It was nice to have the fans. The energy was just... It would have been better if it was a lot more fans, but it was what it was. And the wrestlers, they went out there and they busted their asses, literally. I mean, just ask Riddle. Peace, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And hit the like button to see when my next video is coming out. Love y'all.